everybody, Dan Bailey here with another super fun Fujifilm video for you. Today I've got a really cool announcement. But before we get started, I want to let you guys know about my online course, Mastering the Fujifilm Autofocus System. In this comprehensive video tutorial, I teach you everything you need to know in order to get the best performance from your X-Series camera, no matter what kind of subjects you shoot. I run you through all the settings, all the features, how to optimize your camera for best performance, and I give you my pro tips on how best to capture the kinds of subjects that you like to shoot. This course is relevant to all the X-Series models, and I think that every X-Series shooter can get a lot out of it. So you can find the course right here at this link, and you can see what other students have said about it and how helpful it's been for them as well. Okay, let's get started. Back in 2015, Fujifilm released a very important camera. This was the X-T10, and it was essentially the little sibling to the X-T1. It had the exact same sensor, same processor, and nearly all of the same settings and features that the X-T1 had. And it was all packaged into a smaller, lighter weight, less expensive body. But that doesn't mean they dumbed it down. In fact, since it had virtually the same specs, it offered the exact same image quality as the X-T1 and also the same performance with regards to autofocus and all of the shooting menus and settings that it had available to you. It did have some limitations, which is understandable since it had to meet the less expensive price point, but those limitations were few. Less metal in the body, non-weather sealed, and a little bit smaller internal buffer for shooting at high speed continuous. But as I said, the X-T10 offered the exact same image quality as the X-T1, which was the flagship camera at the time, and nearly identical specs and performance in every single way. And it was the perfect camera for someone who wanted high performance but didn't need a fully weather sealed, totally rugged body. And it excelled at that. The X-T10 was a highly successful camera. I used the X-T10 extensively in 2015 and 2016, and I beat the crap out of mine, and I shot some of my favorite images from that era with that little camera. In my 10 years with Fujifilm series that I did here on YouTube, I talk about the X-T10 in one of the episodes, and you can find that right here. And you can see some of the photos I shot with it. And so following with this trend, Fujifilm released the X-T20 and the X-T30, essentially the little siblings to the X-T2 and X-T3, and same thing applied. Identical image quality and nearly identical specs and performance at a great price point. Now for whatever reason there was no X-T40, but I'm excited to announce that today Fujifilm has just launched the X-T50. This is the next iteration of this awesome little camera and that brings it up to the 5th generation specs. As with before, the X-T50 is essentially the little sibling to the X-T5, identical in almost every way in terms of specs and features. It has the same 40 megapixel HR sensor that's found in the X-T5 and the X-H2, and the same image processor that's found in all of the 5th generation models, the X-T5, the X-H2, X-H2S, and X100-6. And it has the same 7-stop IBIS image stabilization system as all the other 5th gen models. Now once again, you get all of that performance, exact same image quality as the X-T5 and X-H2 in a smaller, lighter body. And the only trade-offs are it's not quite as rugged and it's not weather sealed. With a faster processor, the buffer is no longer an issue because the computer speed is so much faster in these new cameras, and single card slot as opposed to 2 slots. But for a lot of people, that's not much of a sacrifice. And with those specs, it's going to be a great performing camera. It'll do just about everything you want to do. The X-T50, as I said, same sensor, same processor as the X-T5 and X-H2, which means you have all of the new 5th generation settings, including the subject detection autofocus. So yeah, the little X-T50 could be your BIF camera. Imagine standing out there next to all those guys who have these huge DSLRs, and there you are with a little X-T50, and you're going to be nailing the same shots. Because these 5th generation Fujis have amazing autofocus tracking capabilities. I mean, it's going to get the job done. No question about it. It also has pretty much the same video specs as the X-T5. It'll shoot 4K for about an hour on a single battery. It'll do 6.2K, and it can shoot and save 10-bit video right to your card inside the camera. Now, it doesn't have the CF Express card like the X-H2 does, so you won't be able to get those super high bit rates. But for most video applications, the X-T50 is going to be perfectly adequate. It's going to shoot beautiful quality footage, and if you do have action to shoot, it'll get it done. So yeah, it's not going to have the same video specs as the XH2 and XH2S, but I mean, those are different cameras. Those are more expensive cameras. And of course, the X-T50 would make an excellent backup camera to something like the XH2S. Now these little sibling cameras like the X-T10, 2030, they've always had a slightly different layout in terms of the dials. The new X-T50 follows a similar layout style that its precursors had, but there's a really cool feature that's been added. The X-T50 has a brand new film simulation dial. Basically, you have 8 film sims that are permanently etched into the dial, and then you have FS1, 2, and 3 where you can save different film simulations to those slots as well. So you can always choose your film simulations with a function button or inside the menus, but that little film simulation dial allows you to change to your favorites instantly with just a twist of the dial. And that's a pretty cool feature. And the way that these little film sim icons have been etched into the dial is really beautiful. It's such classic X-series styling through and through. Well, I haven't seen the camera up close yet, but I know that there's Provia, Velvia, Astia, probably Classic Chrome, there's probably Classic Neg, and it has the new Reala Ace as well. So imagine being able to turn the dial and just picking your favorite film sim with the little icons. That's going to be a lot of fun. X-T50 also has the C1 through 7 custom slots where you can create and save your own presets with whatever shooting parameters you want. And as with the X-T5, you have more choices available. You can save image quality, specs, camera settings, and autofocus settings as well. And one limitation the X-T50 has is you can't access those 7 C1 through 7 slots on a dial like you can on the XH2. You have to go into the menu to access them, but you have to do that on X-T5 as well because X-T5 doesn't have a C1 through 7 on the dial either. There is a setting on the X-T5s called C1 Recall, which has instant recall of your C1 preset. I imagine the X-T50 will have that as well. The body design of the X-T50 has been beefed up a little bit as well. It has a slightly larger grip and just a little bit more substantial feel than the previous generations. So it's just a little bit more robust in your hands. It's very close to the size of the new X100-6, which brings up a very important point. Those new X100s are on back order and will be for months. Now those are great cameras, no doubt. But as one person put it to me, some people are buying X100-6s like it's a piece of jewelry. For some people, not you guys of course, the X100 seems to be like a little special status symbol or branding icon. So in part for that reason, they're incredibly hard to find right now. But the X-T50 is going to be shipping on June 17th. So if you get your pre-order now, which you can do at the link below, you could have one in a month. Now I do have an X100V, and I like it a lot. It's a beautiful little camera. But I've always felt that that little sibling camera like the X-T10 or the X-T50 with that little 27mm pancake lens is pretty much an X100 with interchangeable lenses because they're very close in size. But you can use any lens you want on here. You could even put the 150-600 on here. Again, BIF camera, little package. If you already have some Fuji lenses, why not get yourself an X-T50 instead of waiting months for one of these guys? And the X-T50 is even going to come in 3 colors, black, silver, and charcoal silver, which is kind of like silver, just a little bit darker, but not as dark as black. So the X-T50 will come body only, but it will also come bundled with a brand new kit lens. Replacing the venerable 18-55, Fujifilm has a brand new 16-50 kit lens. And the reason that they're doing this is because with the higher megapixel sensors, the 18-55 just isn't able to keep up with that extreme resolution anymore. So the new 16-50 kit lens is going to give you that incredible resolving power so you can take full advantage of your new 40 megapixel sensor. And it's weather sealed. The 18-55 was a great lens, but it's not weather sealed. The new 16-50 is. In terms of focal length, it's only 2 millimeters wider, but that actually gives you an 11% increase in your field of view and how wide it is. It's even a 1/4 pound lighter than the old 18-55, and it has internal zoom and internal focus, so the barrel doesn't move in and out when you're using it. So yeah, brand new camera, X-T50, 5th generation performance. You can either get it body only or with the new 16-50 kit lens. So both of those things are really exciting in my book, and I especially can't wait to check out the X-T50 because I've always been a huge fan of that little sibling series. Okay, that's all for now. Thanks so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel, leave a comment. Please check out my best-selling guide, X-Series Unlimited. It's the missing manual to the X-Series. It teaches you everything you need to know in order to get the best performance and have the most fun with your Fuji camera. Finally, very special thanks to my subscribers. You guys are awesome. You've given me excellent support over the past few years, and I really appreciate it. Thanks again for watching. Have fun with your Fujis out there, and I'll see you next time.